Hello Giants. Lee Marvin was born on February 19, 1924, in New York City into a family where military service was a proud tradition. His father had fought in World War I and his brother would later serve as well, so from a young age, Marvin was surrounded by discipline and duty. But he wasn't the type to fit easily into structured environments. As a boy, he bounced between schools in Florida and New Jersey, often restless and getting into trouble. That rebellious streak and refusal to conform would later show up in the raw, uncompromising way he carried himself on screen. When World War II broke out, Marvin enlisted in the Marine Corps at only 18 and saw action in the Pacific. During the brutal Battle of Saipan, he was shot by machine gun fire, suffering serious wounds to his sciatic nerve and spending more than a year in recovery. The experience left him scarred but also shaped the toughness and authenticity that later defined his acting career. Unlike actors who only pretended to be soldiers, Marvin had lived it, and audiences could sense the truth behind his performances. After the war, he drifted through odd jobs before stumbling into acting almost by accident while working at a community theater. Once he got a taste of the stage, he pursued it seriously, studying in New York at the American Theater Wing. His tall frame, gravelly voice, and rugged intensity made him stand out, and before long he was cast in film and television, usually as villains, heavies, or hardened soldiers. His big break came in the 1950s with chilling supporting roles in movies like The Big Heat and Bad Day at Black Rock. By the 1960s, he had become a star in his own right, terrifying audiences as Liberty Valance opposite John Wayne and James Stewart, and then surprising everyone in Cat Ballou, where he played both a comical drunk and a cold-blooded gunman, a performance that won him the Academy Award. From there, Marvin became one of the most bankable leading men in Hollywood, anchoring films like The Dirty Dozen and Point Blank and even venturing into musicals with Paint Your Wagon. Despite fame, Marvin never embraced Hollywood glitz. He preferred solitude, fishing, and outdoor living, often escaping to Arizona or Baja, Mexico. But he was also candid about his battles with alcohol, which sometimes disrupted his work and personal life. He married Betty Ebling in 1952, and they had 4 children together, but the marriage collapsed after years of strain in his drinking. Later, his highly publicized relationship with Michelle Triola made headlines when she sued him in a groundbreaking palimony case. Eventually, he found stability with Pamela Feely, a childhood sweetheart he married in 1970, and she remained with him until his death in 1987. Marvin was as blunt in real life as he was on screen, and he didn't hide his opinions about other actors. He once named 7 men he openly disliked. At the top of his list was John Wayne, whose image as a war hero infuriated Marvin because Wayne had never actually served in the military. Marvin, who had bled on the battlefield, considered Wayne's patriotism performative and also clashed with his politics. Charles Bronson was another. Marvin thought him arrogant, cold, and dull, joking that talking to Bronson was like talking to a wall. With Robert Mitchum, Marvin complained that he was lazy and coasting, while Mitchum mocked Marvin's intensity. He called Telly Savalas vain and self-promoting, accusing him of trying to steal scenes during The Dirty Dozen. He disliked Yul Brynner's obsession with controlling the camera and once said he'd rather drink battery acid than share a set with him. Tony Curtis represented everything Marvin despised about Hollywood glamour, and Marvin dismissed him as someone who wouldn't last 2 minutes in a real fight. Even Frank Sinatra made the list. Marvin considered him arrogant and unprofessional, recalling how Sinatra walked away from The Dirty Dozen without regard for the rest of the crew. These grudges said as much about Marvin as they did about the men he criticized. He was uncompromising, gruff, and unwilling to fake admiration. Whether fair or not, he held to his opinions until the end. By the mid-1980s, years of smoking and drinking had caught up with him. After battling health issues and a long hospitalization, Lee Marvin died of a heart attack on August 29, 1987, at the age of 63. He was laid to rest with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery, remembered as one of Hollywood's toughest, most authentic screen presences.